this a little closer. Hello. Hello. Hopefully you can hear me okay on this microphone. That is right in front of my quiet mouth. Hi. These are my weekly books. I apologize. I did not do this live stream last week. I kind of just didn't feel like it. I need a better reason. There's a better one. I didn't get that many books last week. It was a really, really light week. I was just really, really tired. I was busy. I'm always busy, which is why these videos are always starting at like 9 p.m. Pacific time. So thanks for putting up with that. This is everything I picked up this week. Hi. I also was able to grab 2 new free comic book day things from Mill Geek Comics. I work there, so I didn't want to like go overboard and take comics from, I was going to say paying customers, but they're free comics. You know what I mean? I didn't want to deprive customers of their free comic book day books. So I grabbed 2, one of which I was really, really, really looking forward to. And the other one I feel like I might need because I'm reading both books. Whatever. Oop, I just dinged the microphone. I'm sorry. So, you're making noise. Get out of here. As always, I'm going to go through this whole stack and one by one show you what I got this week and tell you what I'm thinking about the book that I got this week. I've already read about half of these, so that will help. I'm going to move my free comic book day books over here. And I did get, let's just start with that one. I got Suicide Squad, Get Joker. Finally, issue number 3 of this book came out. This run is now over, but it's been so long since the first 2 came out. I thought I missed issue 3. I didn't. I got all 3 of them. I just have to track down wherever I put the first 2. I think they're over here in this pile. I'm going to blast through and binge read all 3 all at once, but I don't know. I'm just glad I can finally. I was getting worried. I thought I missed it and I was going to have to go buy it on eBay or track it down somehow, but apparently it was just super delayed. Okay. I just started with that one because that's no mystery. It's the only big book I got today. Okay. There are 2 hardcovers also that I grabbed today, but I'll save those and go through them at some other point, as well as the free comic book day books. Okay, first book on the stack today is Bunny Mask, The Hollow Inside, number 1 from Aftershock Comics. I did not read this yet. As I've mentioned before, I think on this channel, when I get my when I get my new comics, I tend to prioritize the books I'm less excited for. That way, I don't know, I can still have fun. I feel like if I start with the stuff I love the most and I'm the most looking forward to, then I'll have less and less fun the longer I read, if that makes sense. The real answer would be stop getting books I'm not excited for, but I can't cancel a series. I just can't. I can't do it. I can't drop a book. I'll add books and I'll wait for them to die, but I'll never drop one. Our shop finally got in our copies of Amazing Spider-Man number 1, the new relaunch from, I think, 2 weeks ago. I have not read this yet. I went with the Patrick Gleason web variant. Honestly, if I see Patrick Gleason's name as an option for a variant cover, I will usually go for it. I quite enjoy his art. The whole web thing is a little played out, but this one's fine. This looks like the Queen Goblin from the end of the last run, the Beyond run. I wasn't the biggest fan of that character, so I don't know if she's going to be carrying forward into this new story arc, but I don't have very high hopes for this Spider-Man number 1, so we'll see. All right, next book. Oh, Jurassic League number 1. I loved this comic. I'll show you. I think you have to know what you're getting into when you pick this book up and start reading it, because it is the Justice League as dinosaurs. I guess that's the right way to say it. I guess there's like an egg instead of a rocket ship that falls to Earth and contains a Kryptonian super being, it's like an egg. An egg hatches, and you get a super dinosaur that pops out. And this whole book is uh it's very silly, but it knows it. And if you know it too, you can have a good time. This is normally the kind of book that would uh make me a grumpy old man and be like, wow, this is stupid. But I guess I was in the right mood when I read this. And yeah, you've got the Black Mantasaurus in here. That's pretty funny. There's just a lot of funny situations and characters in this book, but also just this awesome shot of Aquaman or Aqua Dino, whatever they're calling him, and all the glorious sea creatures. I love this lobster looking guy back here, like triumphantly raising up his claws. It's a fun book. It's a 6-issue miniseries. I think this will be a really cool trade when it's all done, but I'm having a blast. I really liked this book, like way more than I was prepared to. I was very nervous when I opened it. Like, I want to like it, but I don't think it's going to be good. And it turns out that I actually liked it. So that is Jurassic League #1. Tessa says, hey, nice shirt. Thank you. I opened this on the Comic Tom live show yesterday. This is my from James Tynan's Substack. This is a exclusive shirt for The Closet, which is a comic from his Substack that will be coming out in a couple weeks. I think it was just on FOC this week on Monday. So you're too late if you didn't pre-order The Closet #1, which you should have. It's good. I don't have to say it's gonna be good. It is good. I've already read all 3 issues. It's all done on his Substack. So if you're super impatient, you can go subscribe to that and read it all online. But I'm excited to read it all over again in single issue format too. Anyway, Closet's cool. Shirt's cool. Thanks, Tessa. Next book. Ooh, speaking of James Tynan, this is Sandman Universe, Nightmare Country #2. I have not read this yet, but I went with the B cover, like I usually do, at least for DC stuff. This is the Andrea Sorrentino variant. I'm digging it. I don't really remember what happened that much in the first issue of Sandman Universe, so I'm looking forward to going back and reading both of them back to back, like I always do. Ooh. Nottingham, #7, right? This is #7, the second issue since Nottingham has come back. I have not gone back and started reading this again. I don't think I didn't read #6 last month when that came out, and now I have to. I got to sit down and read 6 and 7. If I put it off again, I'll have to read all 3 at once next month, and I don't know why I'm putting it off. I didn't hate the first run of Nottingham, clearly, because I kept reading it, but it's not one of my favorites, so maybe I should start with that one. I feel like I already read most of the stuff I'm least looking forward to, except for one. There's one book in this stack that I absolutely I despise, and I need to stop getting it, but I don't. I won't, because I'm stubborn, but that's the one. Like I said, normally I will read my least favorite books first to get them out of the way, but this one I couldn't do it. I don't know if it's going to be this next book. No, it's not. I have not read this yet. This is one I do like. Superman, Son of Kal-El, #11. I have not read this yet. I hope it's cool. The cover's cool. I don't know who does the artwork on here. Variant cover by Roger Cruz, Norm Rapmond, and Luis Guerrero. It's got Jonathan Kent holding up the Daily Planet. It's a fun series. It's a good Superman book. James Phelps, is it Future State Gotham? Yes. Yes, it is. That's somewhere in this stack. And I really don't like it. I hope somebody likes that book. Someone has to. I really don't. It's not this one. This one's heavy. Hulk Grand Design Madness. This was another one that our shop was delayed. We did not get our copies of this. I think this was last week. This might even be 2 weeks old at this point. I don't know. I don't care. I read both of them back to back last night, and I love this series. This might be my favorite Marvel series of 2022 so far. I don't know. Series might be a little exaggerated because it's only 2 issues, but this comic is just so fun. I liked issue 1 a little bit more because it had It had more Silver Age kind of flair to it. The first, because it's a 2-issue series, and the whole premise is that it goes over. I'll just show you. It goes over the entire history of the Incredible Hulk comic, and the first issue goes over the first half of his run. So you get a lot more old school flavored comics in that issue. This one is a little more modern, but not too modern. It only goes up through Planet Hulk, World War Hulk. There's nothing for Immortal Hulk in here, much to my dismay, because that's the only Hulk I know, apart from Donny Cates. It's just a really fun book. This is I can't stress that enough. This is even if you're like me and you have no Hulk knowledge, this is something that you should be reading, or you should read. It's already done. Shouldn't be too hard to track down, unless you shop at Milky Comics, because we're all out. We have been out, but that's why you pre-order books. All right. Hi, kitty. Yeah. Anyway, hi, everyone. Hope you're having a good Wednesday. I am. It's been a long day. It's been a busy day. I'm going to take a drink of water and carry on with my my pull list. We're somewhere between 1/3 and 1/2 done with my books so far. I'm going a little faster than normal, but that's also because I haven't gotten to the hardcovers that I have yet. I almost just bunked myself in the face with this bottle of water. My OCD won't let me drop titles either, says James Phelps. It's bad. That's one of the reasons I love sticking to miniseries. Those end miniseries, maxi series, they're designed with an end point in mind. I'm still shocked that Future State Gotham is carrying on, especially considering how bad it is, but whatever. I know it fits me, but I'm really into this book. It made me appreciate Hulk so much more, says Tessa. I agree. I had the same feeling after reading Immortal Hulk and encountering all these characters and references to stuff in the past. That, like, I don't know who the hell Mr. Fix-It is, or any of this other stuff that happened to him before, but I kept telling myself while I was reading Immortal Hulk, like, I'm going to go back and I'm going to read and research and learn a whole lot about Hulk. And I never have the time. I read like 20-something issues out of this stack already, and I've probably got about that many to go to finish off this week's books. And by the time I'm done with that, I feel like the last thing I want to do is read more comics, but that's the only chance I ever get to read comics that aren't from this week. I don't know. I'm right about at my maximum amount of comics I can handle every week before exploding and crying and running to go live in a cave like Obi-Wan. Although I really want to do that. That's a life goal there, retirement goal. I am Batman number 9 from DC Comics. I don't love this variant by Gerardo Zaffino. It's kind of dark and hard to really tell what's going on. It's fine. It's a fine variant cover. I think this is still my favorite Batman book. However, my interest in this series is slightly decreasing. The second story arc, starting with issue 6, has this next Batman character moving to New York City and getting out from under Bruce Wayne's shadow in Gotham. And it's cool, but it's moving a little too slow. And I think that's just a problem of being in the month-by-month grind. And it's all new territory. Tessa says, I'm all about Batman the Night. Yeah, you might be right. That might be my favorite as well. But I really like I Am Batman. Something about issue 9 didn't sit with me, but that's a really small critique. I just really like this book. I like the fact that it takes Batman. It's not really him, but it's a guy in a bat costume. It removes him from Gotham and all the same villains we're used to and the same supporting cast, and it's building a whole new world, for lack of a better phrase. It's building a whole new world for this superhero character. We're getting glimpses of new antagonists, and the supporting cast is being built up. At the same time, the villain that he's fighting here is picking off various members of the Gotham elite. Like, he's killed, spoiler alert, I guess, he's killed like the police commissioner, I think, and maybe the mayor or something. I can't remember. He's killed the various high-ranking officials in New York City. So all these people that you're meeting and getting attached to in these last few issues, they're kind of getting picked off. So I guess we're not really establishing a whole lot. We'll see where it goes from here, but I definitely prefer it to the main Batman book and to definitely the main Batman book. That has been a gigantic disappointment for me. The Joshua Williamson Batman run, I don't care for. Detective Comics has dipped a little bit for me too as well. So I think I Am Batman is my favorite ongoing Batman title. How about we say it that way, Tessa? Batman Killing Time is cool, but I'm a King Homer. What is a King Homer? What does that mean? I like Killing Time as well, but it's definitely a miniseries, and I don't know. I like it and I don't like it at the same time. I don't know. I'm just trying to be contrary, I guess. Even if you got the first 3 issues of Batman the Knight, will you buy the compendium with the first 3 issues because it's in a different format for collecting purposes? Sorry for the poor English. No, that was perfect. I got you. I'm not going to. Only because my least favorite way to read a comic is in the single issue format. I don't like it. I prefer, if anything, I would get Batman the Knight collected 1 through 10. I think it's a 10 issue run. I would rather get a 10 issue hardcover or trade instead of another floppy single issue or triple issue in that book's case. I don't like reading very fragile, delicate single issues of comics. They stress me out too much. I like putting fingerprints on them, and they're rare. Sometimes they can be expensive after the fact. I don't like it. Too much pressure. But I also don't like waiting for the trade. So I can't win. This is Nocterra number 10. And Scott Snyder, man. He's writing We Have Demons right now, and that book is pretty fun. I'm enjoying that. I don't like Nocterra. I really don't like this book. There was a moment in issue 8 or 9, I think, where I thought to myself, like, okay, maybe I've been a little too hard on him. I'm liking this. There was some specific moment in one of those 2 issues that had me going like, okay, I was a little too harsh on this series. This isn't bad. And now here we are back again with issue 10, and you got that same hokey narration sequence at the start that it's like a framing device. Like, he'll tell a story at the beginning of the issue. The entire action of the issue will happen. And then at the end, when the narrator is wrapping up the retelling of the events that happened in the issue, they will tie back into this cheesy metaphor that they brought up at the beginning of the issue. And it's the same formula he uses for every single issue of this run. And it drives me insane. Oh my God, it drives me so nuts. And it shouldn't, but it really does. It overshadows. It puts a bad taste in my mouth for the entire book, because I know I can see it coming right at the beginning. I know they're setting up some stupid punchline for at the very end, and it makes me focus on totally the wrong stuff. But even looking past that, I think the characterization is very threadbare in this book. I don't have any idea of really who these people are or what their motivations are. I think it's a very cool premise. I love the world of Nocterra and the idea of the sun going out and monsters kind of evolving in this new dark world that these characters are living in. But there's not a lot of, I don't know, I can't identify with, not that I can't identify with them. I feel like I can't identify them. They don't make sense, and I don't care. Even a book I don't like Walking Dead, for another book that takes place during an apocalypse, at least that book I was able to like, I know that's Rick, I know that's Shane, I know that's Lori and Dale and Andrea, and I can kind of care about them a little bit, even though I know they're all going to get ripped to shreds at some point during this run. But Nocterra, I don't know these characters. I don't care about them. It's just it's not working for me. And I'm gonna keep going with it, because maybe it'll get good, but 10 issues in, I'm just not feeling it. Nocterra is not a winner for me, and I think I'm in the minority there. Tessa, I like those little compendiums. I think they have a super low print run and they're neat. Oh yeah, here you go. So it says, James, I bought Knights of Steel, the first 3 issues, collected, hopefully get my wife to read it. As of yet, no luck. That's the one I was looking. I would have liked to get that one, because I do like Dark Knights of Steel, but I can't. Obviously, I don't know your wife. I don't know you, James Phelps, but I can't imagine that book being the, unless your wife is very into like Game of Thrones and medieval fantasy kind of stuff, and also superheroes. I can't imagine that book being a successful book to get someone into comics. Actually, that's a good transition. Well, the first hardcover I got today. Did you hear what Eddie Gein done? I'm a big fan of like horror movies, and Ed Gein is a real life serial killer who was the inspiration for Psycho, Silence of the Lambs, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, several other horror movie characters. But he was a real life serial killer, and this was a true crime comic book that was written about him last year, I believe. And I've heard a lot of good things about it, and I'm really excited to read that. But more importantly, after I'm done reading this, I'm going to give this book to my mom, and I think this will be the kind of comic that if she doesn't read this, there's no hope for getting that woman to read a comic book at all. She loves that stuff. She loves serial killers and true crime and murder. So I'm crossing my fingers. I've heard good things about that book. Tessa says, I was a little disappointed with that, probably just because of how high the hype was. Thought it was just pretty good. Okay. I can take pretty good. My mom loves murder. Yeah, I used to have 2 brothers. Now I just have 1. I wonder what happened to the other one. Circumstances. Hey, what up, Ryan? It took me way too long to realize that your name was a pun. Or, is that the right word? A pun for whatever it is? She was listening in. Uh-oh. Hi, Mrs. Phelps. And she said she is totally into Game of Thrones and fantasy, so you might have helped me. Now she's hyped for the Ed Gein book, too. I don't know anything about this one. I have not read this yet, but I did hear good things. It's a little small guy. It's $30. So I think unless it's very dense. I have not stretched the spine yet on this book, so I don't want to open it and show you the inside because I'm very, very, I'm a stickler for proper care of hardcovers, but I hope it's good. According to Tessa, it's not that great. Ryan, make vids on how to get people's wives into comics. I can't speak on how to do anything to get women to do anything. I am not an authority on that. I can make a video on how to get people in general into comics, maybe, but I don't know if that deserves a whole video other than just a line of dialogue or one line saying not superheroes. That's really my advice. In my experience, that's the best. You had the best luck. Not superheroes. Nope, wives only, says Tessa. Naomi season 2, number 3. Number 3 of 6. So we're already halfway done with Naomi season 2. I don't hate this. I really liked the first run of Naomi, mostly because in her first, actually I have Naomi somewhere. Oh yeah, right here. It's hard to tell, but that's Naomi. In the first 6 issues of this series, she was just a girl solving a mystery. She between those books and this book, between season 1 and season 2 of Naomi, she has joined the Justice League and gone on several crazy adventures. And she is not as much of a novel new character as she was back in her debut 6-issue series. Also, there's not really a mystery in this one. This story is more involved in the DC universe too. Like there's a lot of references to the Hawk people, like Thanagar and Rand and a bunch of old DC lore, and it just the first 6 issues of Naomi were so simple and clean and easy, and anybody could read that and have fun. Maybe that's another good wife recommendation, although I don't know if that's a wife recommendation so much as maybe a child, a daughter or son, maybe probably daughter recommendation, kind of like a YA sort of book. Naomi was cool. Season 2 I'm not in love with as much, but I'm still glad it exists, and it is still my favorite thing that Bendis has written in a very long time. He has definitely fallen off in my mind. He used to be my favorite writer, and he is no longer he has very much fallen several rungs down the list of my favorite writers. But he does Naomi very well. I do appreciate what he does with Naomi. Nope, wives only. I thought comic books got you all the ladies with like 6 question marks. No, not usually. No. This is The Joneses, number 2 from AWA. I have said over and over how much I love AWA and how they are my favorite publisher, but I'll show you. Right now, they are down to just 4 ongoing books, which is a pretty low number for them. They usually have 6 or 7 series going at any one time, and right now they are just down to 4 books. You got Devil's Highway number 1, which is somewhere in this pile. You've got The Joneses number 2. You've got Hit Me, I think that's number 3, and Primo's number 4. I think Primo's is finishing this month. Yeah, that's number 4. This is the weakest AWA lineup that I have seen since I started following this company, basically since they first started. I don't love any of these books. I haven't read Devil's Highway yet. I think this will probably, out of these 4, be my most favorite story, but a lot of my favorite AWA books just wrapped up. Crimson Cage just ended. Hotel Volume 2 just ended. The Fourth Man just ended. I loved all of those. I'm not really feeling these ones, and we'll see what happens, but I don't love The Joneses either. Something about this book is it's not going in. You know, when a story has a cool premise and you're kind of interested, like this is the idea of a Fantastic Four kind of Incredibles sort of family of superheroes who is trying to play it quiet and not like be public superheroes, because people with superpowers in this world are vilified, and people are scared of them. It's all still new, kind of like the X-Men in the early days. And it's just, I don't know. It's only 2 issues in, 2 issues out of 5. So I guess we're almost halfway done with this run, but it's not exactly going the way or the direction I was hoping this story would go, or that I thought it would. I don't know. I'm just not 2 issues in. I'm not in love with it. So we'll see. Maybe it'll win me over in the last 3, but did I read the first run of Devil's Highway, says Tessa. Yes, I did. I read it like a month or 2 ago. I read it relatively recently, but I did like it. I thought it was a cool, I guess I'll explain it when I get to it. That would have been cool if it was the next book. It's not the next book. This is Time Before Time, issue number 12. I'm still a little butthurt. The original artist of Time Before Time left after issue 11. So this is the first issue of Time Before Time without the co-creator and artist Joe Palmer, who did all the artwork for the first 11 issues. He might have taken a break for one of them, but regardless, his visual style was, in retrospect, it was one of the big draws of this series for me, and this was one of my favorite books of last year. And without him drawing this, I'm going to be a little less into it. This is an issue that takes place in between 2 story arcs. A lot of independent books will do that, where they will they'll usually give the main artist a break and have somebody else come in to tell like a one-shot kind of side story, which is definitely what this is. So it really hasn't hit me yet that the original artist is gone, but he's going off to do his own creator-owned thing. So I'll probably be checking out whatever that book ends up being in the future, but future, I made a time joke. It's still a really cool book. I still like the premise. This is more of a one-shot, kind of exploring the background of this. One of the main characters in this book is Nadia. She's an FBI agent, and she ends up accompanying the main character of this book, Tetsuo, on his journey through time. She's trying to find her family, who she got separated from as a child. And this issue gets into her backstory and why she decides to leave her, I don't want to say cushy federal agent job. I don't know if that's a cushy job, but she leaves that job and kind of goes on the run through time. It's a cool book. There's not a lot of other comics, at least right now, that are like that. But again, I think a lot of that unique energy that this book had was because of the art. And I'm hoping that whoever they get to draw this book consistently moving forward, I don't want them to like try to copy that other style, but I do want it to be different in that sense. I don't want it to feel like a normal, typical DC or Marvel comic. So yeah, we'll see. Next month will be. I'm not going to drop that book at all. It's still one of my favorites. I really do love Time Before Time, but I'm a little nervous about where they go from here. Captain America: Symbol of Truth, #1. I forgot that I ordered this. I actually have the 0 issue of Captain America here. I'm going to read this before reading this, as I always do. But basically, you had that 0 issue sets up this Captain America story starring Sam. I almost said Steve Wilson, Sam Wilson, Captain Falcon, as I call him. And then there's going to be another Captain America series running alongside this, starring Steve Rogers, and that's the one I'm going to be sticking with. Unless this issue blows me away and I love it so much that I end up getting 2 Captain America ongoings at the same time. And I do really like Captain America, but I don't know. I don't want to judge it until I read it, obviously, but something doesn't feel right to me about getting 2 Captain America books. Unless they really tie into each other and they're like essential reading, unless I have to read both of them. We'll see. Kind of excited to get to that one. I'll be doing that tonight for sure. Alien #11. I really like this book. This is always a Marvel book that I forget is a thing because it seems to come out whenever it wants to. This is also a couple weeks old, at least 2 weeks old, I want to say. So maybe some of you have read Alien 11. I don't think so, though. I'm starting to feel like I'm the only one reading Alien, and every time it doesn't come out regularly, I'm worried that it just got canceled. It might even be canceled for all I know. Issue 12 is going to be the final issue in this story arc, and I actually checked just to make sure. I searched it in the catalog, and there is no additional issue of Alien advertised. So it'll be, at the very least, it'll be on another couple of month break after issue 12. So I'm a little nervous. It has been a surprise favorite of mine every month that it comes out. So I'm nervous that Alien will be over soon, but I've been enjoying it. It's written by Philip Kennedy Johnson, who is also writing Action Comics, who also wrote Last God. I feel like I mention Last God every single time I go on camera. He's a really good writer. I really like what he does. So I don't want Alien to be over. Oh, hello, Steve and Ernie. I got 8 billion genies right here. This is the Jenny Frison B cover. And out of everything I have read so far this week, this is my favorite book. This will probably end up on my favorite May comics video that I should be releasing in a month or so. I still have to film my top 5 April. Wow, I'm already so behind. I have to film my video for my favorite comics from last month. I'm very behind on that. Every month, I'm just always going to be behind on that, I think, is what we're learning. So apologies. But yeah, I got the Jenny Frison cover here, and you guys are both correct. This is a gorgeous cover. One of my favorite Jenny Frison variants that she has ever done. It's rocking. I like it a lot. But basically, the premise of this book, everybody on Earth gets a genie, and with that genie, they get one wish. Not 3 wishes, they just get one wish. And the story avenues that you can go down with that sort of foundation is a big part of why this book is fun. There's a cool montage partway through this issue where you get to see like, little Timmy wished for a never-ending supply of money. Oh, that lady wished to be able to fly. Oh, I want to teleport. All the things people think about when you make a wish. But also, there's people who do things you aren't expecting, and this is going to be an 8-issue miniseries, and I'm very much looking forward to how this story plays out and wraps up in just 8 issues. But so far, it's off to a terrific start. I really, really liked that book. 8 billion genies from Image. Hulk versus Thor, Banner of War, Alpha, Part 1. I went with the wraparound cover here. You guys can't tell, but it wraps around to the back. If I had one of those cool clear boards, you'd be able to see that, but I don't, so you can't. This is a so this is a Donny Cates crossover. Whew. Donny Cates puns today. He is writing both Hulk and Thor right now, so it makes sense for him to also write a story that crosses over both of those characters. It's a fine issue. It's just them fighting each other at this point. I don't remember a whole lot of what happened in this book. Um, I did like the fact that it felt like a logical sequel to where we last left both Hulk and Thor. I think that's one of the benefits of having the writer of both of those series also writing their tie-in, or not their crossover event. This feels like a natural next issue in both of their stories. I did appreciate that, especially from Thor's perspective, everything that he's been going through recently with Mjolnir and the death of his father. A lot of those threads from the previous issue of Thor are picked up in here. So I do appreciate that. And it is just this annoying alpha thing that comics are doing now. This is just a issue 1. This is all set up. So we'll see where it goes. And I appreciate that it's a short kind of, I think it's just a 5-part event, 5 or 6 issues. It's not a gigantic thing, which I do like. Okay. I'll show you. I got 2 books for Free Comic Book Day. I'll go through those right now. The one I didn't care so much about was Spider-Man and Venom. I don't know what's going on in here. I didn't know this was even a thing. That's a John Romita Jr. cover for sure. But yeah, it looks like it's got the creative teams of both Spider-Man and Venom writing a story in here. I don't know what this is about. I don't know what's going on, but I'm reading both Spider-Man and Venom, so I figured I would pick this up in case it turns out to be essential or something for those 2 runs. Not something I'm super excited to read, but I wanted to grab it. However, this book I'm very much looking forward to, and I'm very much looking forward to getting the I don't even know what the first hardcover in this series is called, but Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino are going to be doing kind of a Reckless thing. There we go. I'm missing the first Reckless book that is being borrowed at the moment, but like a series of original graphic novels instead of monthly single issues. I'm looking forward to this Bone Orchard Mythos. I have not actually read this yet. I kind of don't want to. I kind of want to save it. I'm going to read it, but when I read it, then it's done, you know? Does anybody else feel like that? Like, I don't want to start something I'm pretty sure I'm going to like absolutely love just because I want to savor it or keep it as an option. I don't know. The only thing I thought was meh about 8 Billion Genies was how fast the owner of that bar thought about that really great wish. Other than that, this book has potential to be very, very, very fun. I know what you mean, and I did agree that felt like, whoa, what a waste. I guess it's a spoiler. I don't know. The most of the action in the 8 Billion Genies takes place within a bar, and the owner of this bar decides to use his wish to make his bar like a safe haven. He says, like, I wish that, what does he say? I wish that the effects of anybody else's wishes don't affect anybody who is currently inside this bar, or eventually he basically makes that building a safe zone. And it did feel weird. Like, I would never in a million years have thought of that. That's a very like defensive play, I guess. He's clearly, I wonder what the hell that guy's life is like if that's your instinct. Like, he immediately makes that decision to make his wish that. So I don't know. We'll see where that book's going to, but I really like it. It's intriguing, and I don't know what's going to come next, which is where I want to be. I like it when there's a little mystery. So it's still my favorite book of the week. I don't know if anything I haven't read yet has the potential to take over that spot for me for this week. Water. Okay. What is this? 5 more books. 1 hardcover. Okay, thank goodness it's not taped. I was worried this would be a lot worse to open. Ooh. I got the fourth one. Sin City, That Yellow Bastard. This is the deluxe edition, volume 4 of Sin City. I think Sin City is a 7-volume series. I don't know if you're still here, Steve and Ernie, but we were talking about this in the shop today. I think it's 7 issues. And supposedly, the slipcase, when you set them all next to each other, it's supposed to spell Sin City. According to the little blurb on the back here. As an added bonus, the cover of each volume's slipcase has a letter from the logo, placed in such a way that you might not even notice it. But when all 7 volumes are viewed together, it is clear that they spell Sin City. I didn't get that vibe from the first 3, but they are all right behind me right there. They are facing this way instead of this way because I put them in this way and I couldn't tell anything. Let's see, he says. Let's see. Let's find out. I'm acting like I'm going to grab all 3 of these with one hand. No, these are very big. I'm trying to do this based on the camera. Oh my goodness, this is going very poorly. There we go. There's one. Oh God. Oh God. What was that? Number 1. I can grab these 2. Sorry, silver coin. You're going to fall on the ground. I guess I'll drop that on the ground. Oh, goodness. Okay. See, already, right off the bat, like that's such a drastically different style, but that is not in the right order. So we've got let me move. Sorry for the detour, you guys, but Stephen Ernie wants it, so it's got to happen. Whatever Stephen says, I listen to. One. 2 and 3. I don't see anything. That was why I made the decision to turn them around, because it's not clear what the hell I'm looking at. I'll take off Something Is Killing the Children too, just to get the space for now. They also have the letters on the side of the slipcase. I thought that too. Like that looks like an S to me, perhaps. I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't see it. I don't see anything there. The style does not match. So unless something really jumps out with the last 3 issues, or I'm doing it wrong or putting them in the wrong order or something. I did 1, 2, 3, 4. Whatever. That's Sin City 1 through 4. So yeah, Steven, we were talking about this earlier in the shop. I feel like I need to look it up online or something. I feel really dumb, but that does not. I don't know. I kind of also hate that it's directly behind me when I sit here and talk. I kind of just want to get a whole bunch of stuff to push. Like Sin City and Swamp Thing are not visible on camera, that's a mistake. Those are some of my favorite books on my shelf, and you can't even see them because I'm blocking the way. It's art. It's open to interpretation. Exactly. I'm just not seeing it the right way. Okay, so those were my free comic book day books. Those are my 2 hardcovers. I think I have 5 more issues left. Let's bust them out. Here's Devil's Highway, Volume 2, Number 1. Tessa was asking about this earlier. The first volume of this series was about it's actually kind of a genius idea, like a serial killer, but he is like a trucker, like driving across the country, and in the back of his truck is where he does all of his like dismembering and chopping up bodies or whatever the hell you do. And because you don't think twice when you're driving down the freeway and you see a big truck. Like the thought of who are those people? What do they got going on inside? What do they got inside their trucks? It's probably like flat screens or whatever those guys drive, from place to place. But maybe it's bodies. So I'm excited to crack this open. And like I said before, I think this will probably end up being my current favorite AWA series right now out of the 4 books they have this month. I think it spells using the front cover of the hardcover without the slipcover, but it specifically says on the little blurb that I read, it specifically says the slipcase. So I think it might be maybe a different side of the case, maybe the front or the back. It's kind of got that same style when you look at any of the other parts of the cover. We'll do one without the wrapper. Right? Like that's something. Maybe you have to put them all this way, which would suck. I'm not going to do that. I don't have that much room. Maybe that's an I. And I guess if there's 7 volumes and there are 7 letters in Sin City, that's an N. And this is volume 3. Work with me here. Am I doing this backwards? What about that? Is that right? Nothing's jumping out at me. Or this way. I'm not seeing anything on the backside either. It's like 2 very distinct images. Nobody has room to keep them front facing. Exactly. I don't know. The back just is more of the same stuff. Either way, they're really cool books. I'm waiting until I get all 7 of them to actually read them. But until then, they certainly look nice. But that's why I made the decision to put them this way. Until I figure out exactly how the hell you're supposed to display these. That's what I'm going to do. All right, 4 books left. This is crossover number 13. This is the finale of the second story arc of crossover. I have been very much in love with this second story arc of crossover, issues 8 through 13. And I had issues 11 and 12 on my top 5 comics of the month list the last few months. I can safely say that issue 13 is probably going to make the honorable mentions segment of my top May comics video whenever that comes out. I really did like this issue 13 of crossover, but I do think, especially compared to the 2-3 issues we had right before this, it's all conclusion. It wraps up the event, the storyline that we've been getting so far, and that's fine. I in stories, I've always liked the build up more than the resolution. I think that's just a natural part of it. Like more often than not, especially in comics, ends up being just a fist fight between people, and that's never as interesting to me as the mystery and the build up and the intrigue. But it does end on a really cool, not necessarily a cliffhanger in this issue, but the last page very clearly sets up where they're going next, and that's a lot of fun. So I'm still on board for crossover. It is still wildly unlike any other book that is currently being printed, and I think for that alone, it deserves a shot, especially if you gave up on it after the first few issues. But I feel like I say that every month. Justice League versus the Legion of Superheroes, number 3. This was delayed. I don't remember what the hell happened in issue 2 of this book. I also don't care. I don't know why. I do know why I got this book, because this series is supposed to get into detail about the Gold Lantern, which was a new Lantern Corps that Brian Michael Bendis teased in his original Legion of Superheroes run. And I very much did not enjoy that Legion run. It was my first time reading a Legion comic, and I was very confused. But the Gold Lantern character was always in the background of those issues, and I was looking out at him because I'm a big Green Lantern fanboy, as you know, probably. And this storyline was advertised, this follow-up storyline, Justice League versus Legion of Superheroes, was advertised as a Gold Lantern focused story. And if I remember correctly, I think even issue 2 was focused around that character. But I feel like it's been a couple months since this story came out, since this series released an issue, and I don't care. I don't like what Bendis is doing or was doing on Justice League at the time. And I really didn't like what he did with Legion. And if this didn't have anything to do with the Gold Lantern stuff, I never would have picked it up. I probably shouldn't have picked it up anyway, but I'm a sucker. Thankfully, it's only 6 issues. So we're halfway done. I should just stop getting it, but I can't do that. I can't do it. Oh, God. Oh, God. Future State Gotham. Steven, if you're still here, I think you might be one of the only other people at our shop that is even getting this book. But you're not reading it, right? I don't think you've started this. You are in the lucky position of being able to let your books build up and read several of them at once. But I don't like to, but I work here. I'm doing YouTube stuff. I'm working at a shop. I feel like I need to be a little more current on this stuff than you are able to be. Okay, that's as detailed of art as I've ever seen in this book. Oh, it's a different artist. That's why. You got a cool 2-page spread in here. I can't lie. That's not bad, especially compared to what you normally see in Future State Gotham. This has so much more detail than the art that is normally in here. But I have said every month that this comes out, it is my least favorite book on my pull list. I'm starting to suspect that this comes out more frequently than once a month because I feel like I just read this. I don't like reading it, and I feel like I just read it. This is the start of a new story arc, okay? The artist is Jeffo. Joffo. Jeoffo. Don't know who the artist is, but I'm not totally against it, especially compared to what came before in this series. Oh, that's why I liked that page. That double page spread. It says this. Okay, I see it. This is from Dan Mora's artwork. This is Dan Mora. So that's why I like it, because it is a different artist. This is taken directly from Future State Dark Detective, one of the Future State books from last February. So I don't know. Maybe I will like this finally. This is part 1, and it looks like it's taking. It says pages 1 through 6 originally presented in Future State Dark Detective number 4. Pages 10 through 13 originally presented in Future State Catwoman number 1 and 2 by Ram V. Okay, well, we'll see. Maybe I will hate it slightly less than I've hated every other issue of this run. But 13 issues in, maybe it'll start getting good. I highly doubt it. I tried reading it also because of John Kent in that universe. Read a couple issues and it dragged. I assume you mean the original Legion of Superheroes run, James, that Bendis did. He did do a lot of Jonathan Kent stuff in that story. And yeah, that was the only saving grace for me because that's the only character in that run that I recognize. All of those Legion characters, I don't know any of them. There's a lot. They throw a lot of characters at you and expect you to kind of know who these future kids are. And I don't know. I guess I'll just continue not knowing or caring about the Legion. The last book on my pull list is Wonder Woman 787? 87. I got the John Boy Myers cover. I'm getting the B covers for this Wonder Woman run. I've only been getting it since the end of Future State, so a little over a year now. But I'm finally current on Wonder Woman. I've been behind for most of the last year. I don't remember what happened in here. This issue mostly just ties up loose threads from the recent Trial of the Amazons event, which I did not read. It's fine. I don't love this book, but I also don't want to just drop it. There's something here that works for me. I can't really put my finger on it. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I liked the first story arc of this run a lot, where Wonder Woman was dead and her soul was stuck in Asgard, and she actually met a lot of characters that you recognize from Thor. She actually met Thor, like the DC version of Thor, in that book, and it was cool. And some of the characters from that story are still involved in what's going on now, so it's not completely moved on from that plot. So I don't hate it. I think for me, my personal high bar with Wonder Woman, and it's probably just because it was the first Wonder Woman I ever read, but it was the New 52 Wonder Woman by Brian Azzarello and Cliff Chang. I do really like this run so much that I have the hardcover on my shelf, which, if I have it on my shelf, then I have to really like it. Which is kind of my criteria, my baseline, to put a book on to own a physical collected edition. I gotta go back and read this. I really want to get the absolute of this instead. But for now, I will settle with volume 1 hardcover of the New 52 Wonder Woman run. I think this is a much better comic than the current Wonder Woman book, but I want to learn more. And Wonder Woman has always been a kind of a big question mark, a blank space for me. I've never really, I don't know a whole lot about her. I didn't even get that far in this run. I dropped a lot of New 52 books back when I first started getting into single issue comics. I went way overboard and subscribed to like every Justice League characters book. I got all 4 Green Lantern books. I got all 4 Batman books. I got 2 different Superman books. I got way too much. I ended up just cutting a whole bunch, and then I just ghosted into my shop. I've told this story several times before. I'm not proud of it, but I maybe read a year or so of Wonder Woman before cutting it off of my list entirely. So I'm looking forward to getting the absolutes and getting through that whole series. But anyway, that's it. That's all I got. Man, your Deadly Class hardcovers are beautiful. Yeah, technically they're not mine. Technically they're my brother's. Technically, he's going to read them at some point. Technically, he can't take care of books. I'm putting them here so they don't get destroyed or water damaged or anything happens to them. I haven't read Deadly Class. I've read like 1 trade of Deadly Class. It's cool. Thankfully, it's kind of behind me, so you can't fully tell. It's like the one thing up here that I'm not familiar with. I don't know. I have not read Deadly Class. I probably should, especially if it's going to be on my shelf. I'm not proud of it. I've told this story many times. Sometimes you gotta tell the hard stories. Like, actually, not to bring the whole mood down, but Donny Cates is a character in Crossover, and he tells a very personal story about his addiction and his drug use in his past. I thought that was a pretty interesting, and I appreciated his truth telling in that issue of Crossover. Some things you're not proud of, but I don't want to compare my not reading of Deadly Class or my ghosting of my comic shop to almost overdosing on drugs. All right, I gotta go. Have you read The Brubaker Reckless? Reckless is actually the only one I've read. I have all 4 of them. Number 1 is being borrowed by my mother. I say borrowed. She's not reading it. She read a few pages. There you go. Reckless is back here. She liked it. I don't know if she liked it enough to read it without me like hovering over her and reading, making sure she's reading in the same room. But I want her to finish because I only read that first one, and I'm getting all of them. I love Brubaker and Phillips. I have all of the Reckless books. I would very much like to get the first one back so I could reread it and then go read the next ones. But no, I've only read the first one, but I have all 4. Oh, hey, Paul. Paul's here. I did not see you today at the shop. You better come in tomorrow or else. Tessa is excited for the Ween. Is it Ween? Is that how you say it? Len Wein? Wine? Ween? I think it's Ween. Ween and Wrightson Swampy Absolute. Yes, I have that pre-ordered. That will be here whenever it's released. I'm not sure when that's coming out. I don't like to pay attention. I like to be surprised. But that will that'll end up going right before the Alan Moore stuff because that was first. Ooh, speaking of books that are right here, um, I will be going over this comic, Superman for All Seasons, tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Or actually, it's going to be on my buddy Justin's channel, No Good Comics, No Good, like with a KNO. We talked today, and we're, instead of going over this whole book in one video, we're going to be breaking it down issue by issue. So tomorrow we will be discussing issue 1 of this comic. This is my favorite Superman book. This is the book that I give to people when they say Superman sucks, Superman's boring, Superman is lame, I don't care about Superman, etc., etc. I throw this book at people and I say, shut the hell up, read this. And then they say, Ryan, you're so awesome, you're so cool, you're correct about everything, you're so cool. And then I say, yeah. Anyway, stay tuned. Watch that tomorrow, or not. You can be lame and not watch it. But either way, you should read this book. It's short, it's sweet. It's Jeff Loeb, it's Tim Sale. If you like Batman Long Halloween, you should give this a try because it's the same creative team and they're awesome. Okay, I'm gonna get the hell out of here. I'm sure he's gonna go something in the future that puts them all together somehow. But for now, you're good. Okay, that one I didn't understand. I don't know if that was an English thing or whatever. But that one. Oh, reckless. Okay, that's what you're talking about. Okay. Whew. Okay. I am going to go read the rest of these books that I did not get to today. Probably going to start with this one. I'm really excited for this. But yeah, hope you guys have a good night. Hope you had a good week. Hope you had a good new comic book day. Hope you had a good free comic book day this last weekend. And I'll see you next Wednesday. But also, you can catch me on Comic Tom on Tuesday. That'll be before Wednesday because Tuesday comes before Wednesday most weeks. All right. Good night, everybody. I'll see you later.